U.S., we start with what's happening on Capitol Hill right now. The House of Representatives is just starting their first round of votes for a new Speaker of the House. On Friday, the GOP nominated Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio to fill the role. He's spent the last few days trying to gather his 217 votes needed to become Speaker. There's still no clear consensus that he has the votes. We'll continue to update you on results throughout our newscasts today. Well, tomorrow, President Joe Biden will visit Israel. The White House says he's making the trip to show solidarity. He's visiting while a growing number of Palestinians prepare for a possible Israeli ground invasion of Gaza. Jay Gray has more to share from Tel Aviv.
From what's been a relatively quiet day here in Tel Aviv, not nearly as much work for the Iron Dome blocking some of the missile strikes aimed at this area. It's been quiet there and on the ground as well. There are a lot of people obviously very tense about the ongoing situation, but very pleased with the idea that President Biden is on his way to Israel. Talked with some older Israelis today who said never in their lifetime would they have imagined a sitting U.S. president coming into this area during wartime. And while the president is here to continue to support Israel and to show that the U.S. supports their effort here, he is also coming with a humanitarian focus as well. The White House saying that at every stop, every time he talks, he will talk about getting aid to some of those 2 million or more trapped in Gaza who have not had access to water, to fuel, to food, to medicine for the better part of 2 weeks at this point. So that's something he's going to drive home as well during his brief trip here. Let's talk about both ends of Gaza. You've got Rafah, the border with Egypt, where thousands of foreign nationals have been gathering over the last few days with the hopes that they could get out of the area. That hasn't happened to this point. That's something that continues to be a key topic diplomatically, and talks are working back and forth on finding some type of transport for those foreign nationals to leave, and for that aid that we talked about to get in. It is now stacked up outside of the border in Rafah and ready to be transported in and get to those who need it. But again, it's just not something that's happened. Then on the other end, the southern end, you've got a continued buildup of equipment and troops, the continued talk of a ground advancement at some point. We haven't seen that happen. What Israeli leaders are saying is that they are going to do this on their terms and on their time, but that just because it's been delayed at this point does not mean it's going away. So at both ends, no real movement onto the border at this point, but a lot of concern about where things may move next. That's the latest here in Tel Aviv. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you.
Well, a Minnesota couple who lost 5 family members in this war is offering a new perspective to our area today. In Blaine, a family is in deep grief. 5 of their relatives were killed this weekend in Israeli airstrikes in southern Gaza. Fatima Abu Musa lost her sister-in-law, 3 nephews, and a cousin in one airstrike. She spoke this week from her home. Her husband is the voice you're here translating.
She's very, very devastated for the children. Her sister-in-law, she's architecture. She's an author. She wrote poems. She wrote books. The kids, she attended all their birth. She held them as babies. So they grew up in her lap, and she takes them places, you know how aunties do. So that hurts her really hard. So far, she can hardly stop crying.
While they mourn the loss of their family members, they also worry about what's to come. You can watch their full story at KARE11.com. Well, let's go ahead and take a turn now to our forecast with a slightly warmer feel outside. Ben, I can still do this weather. Let's talk about the change.
Eventually, all good things must come to an end, I suppose. Yeah, we are looking at a nice day today, more clouds and cooler temperatures, and even a couple of rain chances in our forecast ahead. Let's take a look at our radar satellite composite. Things are mostly clear. We do have some high clouds that are drifting in from the west. That spawns from a Clipper type system, which is going to give us those rain chances beginning as early as tomorrow. Now, outside is just picture perfect. In fact, I was just looking, the sun angle today is about the same as it is in late February, but it still feels nice to be basking in the sunlight. Right now it's 57 degrees. Wind is light and variable, but the wind is going to turn southerly as we head deeper into the day. That should allow us to see probably the warmest temperatures of the week. I think we'll reach into the lower 60s today, but again, cooler temperatures, and we will highlight exactly when we expect rain chances to move in. That's coming up in a couple minutes. Alexis.
Ben, thank you so much. As soon as today, crews could start clearing out a growing homeless encampment in the uptown area of Minneapolis. It's partially located in front of the Walker Library. Businesses in the area say the encampment is taking up too much space on the sidewalk and making it hard for people to walk. We were told Minneapolis and Hennepin County are working together to move one person into a shelter today. In the last 24 hours, we've learned a broken rail is what caused a fiery train derailment in Raymond, Minnesota earlier this year. You may remember the train that was carrying ethanol derailed early on March 30th, forcing 800 people to evacuate their homes. No one was hurt and everyone was able to go back to home within 12 hours of the crash. Investigators estimate this caused nearly $2 million in damage. Well, this afternoon, police in Cottage Grove are trying to figure out who dumped 8 small breed dogs along the Mississippi River. An officer found the dogs Sunday afternoon along Great Cloud Island Drive. All of them were dead. Police are asking anyone who was in the area and may have seen something to contact them. Well, in just more than an hour, the Minneapolis City Council could approve a location for the 3rd police precinct. The old precinct was destroyed after George Floyd was killed in police custody. Cece Gaines tells us about the potential new site.
Hey there, the City Council is set to meet at 1:30 today here at City Hall. Mayor Frey says city staff has considered around 28 different locations for this precinct, but he says at this point it's time to make a decision. So Frey is suggesting an empty lot at 26th and Minnehaha. It's just a few blocks away from the original building that was burned down in the riots following George Floyd's murder. And since then, 3rd Precinct officers have been working out of downtown. But Mayor Frey says it's time to move forward with the plan. He's hoping to create what he calls the Community Safety Center. Now, the mayor says he's open to other locations too. He just wants the city council to make a decision, ideally before the November election. Back to you.
Well, the creator of MyPillow says he's out of money and it's impacting a number of lawsuits he faces. Still ahead, the latest finances and legal trouble facing the Minnesota businessman. Plus, since the pandemic ended, we've seen more people headed back into the office. The number of people in the U.S. still logging on in their PJs.